We're going to move on to the next one here. Israel Amatade. He says, my spouse interprets it as condescending when I ask or remind her to do something for our kids that she already knows she is supposed to do. What would be a better way to communicate a reminder or request to my spouse in this manner without being condescending? An example would be, don't forget to give them their multivitamins before they go to bed. Okay, let's look at this from a scriptural perspective, and then we'll talk just a little. All right, so if we go over to First Peter, the third chapter, I'm just going to hit a couple of things here. The First Peter, third chapter, and let's look at the seventh verse. He says, in the same way, seventh verse, in the same way, you husbands live with your wives in an understanding way. Now, with great gentleness and tact. Now, then he goes on, he talks about the marriage. But before he talks about the marriage, he brings some individuality in. To live with your wives in an understanding way. What does that mean? That means get to know your wife. Mm-hmm. Get to know her trigger points. Get to know that if I use certain words, she sees it this way versus another way. I'm going to help you in just a moment. And then I'm going to skip down a little bit. In verse 8, he says, finally, all of you be like-minded, united in spirit, sympathetic, brotherly, kind-hearted, courteous, compassionate towards each other as members of one household, and humble in spirit. Here we go. And never return evil for evil, insult for insult, avoiding scolding, berating, and any kind of abuse. But on the contrary, give a blessing, pray for one another, well-being, contentment, protection. For you have been called for this very purpose, that you might inherit a blessing from God that brings well-being, happiness, protection. Now, I'll ask you this: how much you pray for your wife? I'll take a moment. How much do you pray for? Yes. How much do you pray for? I'm gonna give you some direction in a moment. But a good place to start is to pray for your wife. Yeah. I'm convinced that when you say something to her about the kids, she forgot something. That's not what the problem is. It's not that moment that you're having the problem. Where you're having the problem at is before that moment. Where you have the problem at is everything around that moment. Mm-hmm. Because what it is she's not feeling safe. And so it's not just that particular moment in which she's like responding or reacting to you. It's all that's, because if you've been having a great day or a great week, a great life, and you happen to say something that may even sound condescending or be condescending, she won't even take it that way. Yeah. Right? The obstacle you have here is she doesn't feel quite protected. Right? And so she sees it as an attack. Yeah, that's good. Okay, is that her? Is that you? Well, that really doesn't matter to a certain extent, because the direction I'll give you in a moment, or suggestions I'll give to you in a moment, you'll see it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether it's you or her, or you really speaking condescending, or is it her issues, whatever. This is what I would suggest that you do. I would suggest that you ask your wife. You say, "Hey, I'm sorry about I spoke condescending to you, or at least it was received that way, and that matters to me. What would be a better way for me to convey this to you?" Ask her. What's the best way for me to say this to you? Because I don't want to offend you. How can I help you? How can I remind you? Shoot you a text, maybe, "Hey, babe, don't forget about the multivitamins today." What words would let you know that I'm in partnership with you and not in opposition with you? Yeah. You see, I think we make the mistake sometimes, Mr. Israel, that we think that after we've been with our spouses for so long that we know them, but we are forever getting to know them. And so the best place to go is to go to her, and not in the moment. Probably it's not good. Wait and let it pass. Let all the smoke clear the house, and whatever the case may be. And then just on an off note, just say, "Hey, babe, what's the best way to approach you? Because Bob, I'm working on being a godly husband, and I know she knows that, and so forth and so on." And so touching base with her and asking her, "How can I speak to you in a way in this situation to let you know that it's love that I'm motivated by, not by being spiteful or revengeful or angry or mad at you, and have that conversation with her. Right?
Yeah.
Let her give you that words that work for her. That's I mean, that's the best way to do it. He responds, praying for